Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Monday, February 21st, 2022, and we're literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Ferguson.
Hello, and thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots Magazine is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. We bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She is a radio and television personality and has a popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Fay's Fur Family. Also, make sure to catch the FayWhat Show, the first LGBTQ plus morning show, Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern, online or your smart television. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, everyone. Definitely uniting the L and the G all over the weekend. We were at Gay Ocho, and I have to say hello to everyone that put that together, everyone that came out and supported. It was awesome hanging out at Lynn's Grove Central with a ton of gay boys and my lesbians. So it was a lot of fun.
And me.
And Al.
And me.
Of course.
And Dale.
And Dale.
And Dino.
I left Gregg home. All right. Next, let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, who I left at home, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 8 books, including his latest, Fear of Muses, an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and music reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ plus and mainstream publications and websites. His movie review column, called Screensaver, can be found in South Florida Gay News, San Francisco's Bay Area reporter, RottenTomatoes.com, and more. Good evening, Gregg. Welcome back.
Thank you. Happy National Sticky Bun Day. Let's welcome anchor Dino Mosquera. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in the late 90s and now serves on the Outshine Film Festival's board of directors.
Sticky buns.
He is now the screening committee chairman, selecting films for one of America's most important LGBTQ plus film festivals. Welcome, Dino.
Thank you, Sticky Bun.
Dino, you kind of look like a very yummy sticky bun, actually. Really think about it.
Wait, again, what are we talking about?
From how busy Dino was yesterday at Gay Ocho, I think there was definitely some sticky bun.
Right?
Dale. See.
Okay.
Let's welcome anchor Dale Stine.
Stine.
He received a master's degree from the world-famous Juilliard School. He's a well-known photographer, and he's famous for his photograph internationally acclaimed DJs, producers, drag personas, politicals, business people, and entertainers, including our very own FayWhat.
Yeah.
He's presently the director of music ministry at the Unity on the Bay and moderator of South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook group, Miami Gay List, which is now also on Instagram as @Miami Gay List Official. Dale is currently vice chair of Miami Beach Human Rights Committee. Good evening, Dale.
Dale. Gracias.
Dale.
Right?
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across the world and America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, February 22nd. Today also starts Aromantic Awareness Week. Aromantic Awareness Week. You know, not a romantic Awareness Week. Just to be clear.
Are you finished?
I might be.
Well, first up, let's queer up the world. The United States warns the United Nations Russia has created a kill list against LGBTQ plus preparing for a Ukraine invasion. Watch this.
And Jake, I know you just heard in the reporting the U.S. has accused Russia of having this list of Ukrainians they plan to kill or kidnap. Just how violent would this invasion, or could it get?
Well, we believe that any military operation of the size, scope, and magnitude of what we believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike. But we also have intelligence to suggest that there will be an even greater form of brutality, because this will not simply be some conventional war between two armies. It will be a war waged by Russia on the Ukrainian people to repress them, to crush them, to harm them. And that is what we laid out in detail for the UN, because we believe that the world must mobilize to counter this kind of Russian aggression should those tanks roll across the border, as we anticipate they very well may do in the coming hours or days.
Well, the White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan revealed that the U.S. has sent a letter to the United Nations warning that Russia has created a kill list of Ukrainians to be attacked or detained in the case it invades the country. The list reportedly has names of people whom Russian authorities would order to be killed or sent to camps. The list is said to include journalists, activists, ethnic and religious minorities, and LGBTQ plus Ukrainians. Other likely targets also include individuals who oppose Russia's strategic goals, as well as dissidents from Russia and Belarus who have taken refuge in Ukraine.
Does Putin want to be the Hitler of the 21st century?
Yeah, he does.
Is that his goal?
The answer is yes.
Really what he's trying to do?
It's very much, and I was thinking today as I was reading this, now this area makes the Middle East look like a playground. I mean, that's really scary.
You know what was really sad? I was watching the videos yesterday of parents that were like pleading with their children to get out of there, you know, and they had a gentleman who had fallen in love with another gentleman there, and he will not leave him, you know, and these parents are crying, please come back to the U.S. Something bad is going to happen. And I mean, it's heartbreaking.
You see, what's getting very concerning is that not only the danger in Ukraine currently, but the countries around, Belarusia, Poland, which is this climate against gay people already festering there, and this will be used as a way to even target more gay activists in those countries, particularly in Ukraine, and the money that is coming to to fight that. So
I'm curious, at the end of the day, is your expectation that Putin is going to invade Ukraine?
Yeah.
Do you think it's inevitable now?
Yeah, it sounds like a movie, a kill list and everything. Oh my God! And this is going to happen now.
But the whole intention is that they're trying to get Ukraine, which Ukraine has not declared that they're going to join NATO, right? So they are trying to persuade Ukraine not to, but they haven't decided. They haven't even been voted into voting them into NATO. But Putin wants to get concessions ahead of this. So this is.
And he's Putin, meaning the government, Putin, basically. They're also rolling out this narrative that Ukraine is also breaking all these laws so that they can be set up to invade them. So he's really just setting it up to make it almost, it seems inevitable.
You know, we report this as our lead story tonight in Queer News Tonight because I think a lot in our community do not realize the implications that this geopolitical story has on LGBT worldwide. If you accept the concept that the LGBTQ community is an international brotherhood, sisterhood, non-binary, trans, etc., we should be concerned about what's going to happen in Ukraine. We have watched basically the complete annihilation of the LGBTQ community in Russia. So the National Security Advisor's warning to the UN about LGBT risk in Ukraine seems eminently reasonable to me that it could be a reality.
Absolutely. Now we queer up politics. He rejected LGBTQ as a protected class. Now Trump claims he is a protected class in legal woes. Protected classes are groups of people who are legally protected from discrimination based on characteristics such as race, gender, sexuality, age, and the like. Apparently, Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, feels that Republicans should be added to that list. HAWA believes that New York Attorney General Letitia James is investigating 45's potentially fraudulent real estate dealings in the state simply because she doesn't like him. HAWA told Judge Arthur F. Engoron, quote, "She has such disdain for this person because he was president, because he is Donald Trump, and he could probably win in 24. He has First Amendment rights. He's allowed to be a Republican. He's a protected class," end quote. Protected class, my ass. Oh my God, what a fool. And this is yet another lawyer who won't get paid just for the honor of working with him. Where did you go to law school?
Do you miss Giuliani or something?
Right.
Trump University.
Trump you.
Right. Well, he does have, he has some age, quote unquote, disabilities that can be protected. He's obese. He could have, age.
He definitely has mental illness.
And he's definitely, but he has no bottom, this guy. I mean, the barrel, it just keeps getting bottomer and bottomer and bottomer. It's unbelievable.
Is there a fund to support Letitia James? I actually would like to know if we could contribute to her. I know this is official and she's doing it officially, right? But if there is any money, we should be pitching.
There's no ability to donate to a public prosecution.
I know.
That's a good idea.
But that's a great idea.
All the gay people are going, that sounds good.
I'll get to that.
Yeah, right. One of the him aside, dismissed. We'll talk about you again 10,000 times over the next 2 years leading up to 24. What's really interesting to me about this story is Alina Habba. I have repeatedly read from Wall Street Journal to New York Times to even moderately conservative media that one of the biggest hits on what's going on in the Trump organization is their legal teams, and that all of these attorneys have turned over, and they've had great difficulty replacing them. The Wall Street Journal said they're scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
See?
Alina, congratulations. You're the bottom of the barrel.
You're the scrape. And we continue by queering up business. Florida politicians behind Don't Say Gay are backed by corporations claiming to support LGBTQ+. Queer News Tonight has reported extensively on the Florida Parental Rights and Education Bill, or the Don't Say Gay Bill, as opponents are calling it. The chief sponsor of the bill, Dennis Baxley, has been making derogatory remarks against the LGBTQ+ community forever. It comes as a surprise to many, then, that several major companies that tout being LGBTQ+ supportive have financially supported those who back the bill. For example, Comcast NBC Universal has donated a total of $28,000 to Baxley and others who support the bill. United Healthcare, which received a perfect score on the 2022 HRC Corporate Equality Index, has donated at least $200,000 to Governor DeSantis in the past 2 years. Other companies that have donated to the Florida politicians backing the bill are Duke Energy, AT&T, the funders of One America News, Walgreens, and many others.
Does it piss you off?
Big time.
Well, and once again, we have an opportunity to speak with our wallets. Boycott, boycott, boycott. It's very easy. Walgreens has plenty of competition. There's all these companies, insurance companies, have plenty of competition. Go where the money is needed and deserved.
Well, the problem, I agree with you on one hand. On the other hand, it seems that our hands are almost tied in some situations. Like if you have United Healthcare through an employer, so you're kind of like, okay. And CVS, CVS is also known to have very bad political leanings. Yeah. So the alternatives aren't always so easy.
But it still hurts, though, Dale.
Oh, gosh.
Comcast, didn't they do that whole big virtual pride for us when we were quarantined? And this is what they do behind? This is how they use their money against us?
It's disturbing that the HRC is giving these
ratings.
That's
my point.
Very disturbing.
So where is the HRC now? Because they're scoring them, right? So they give them a score and they get a lot of backing based on those scores. So now is there a follow-up from the Human Rights Campaign? Because there must be some consequence to this, right? So, and that's when you go and invest your money or support. Is the HRC following up on this? Is what I want to know.
Yeah. Do you think that they will? I'm curious.
Well, if we tweet them enough, they might.
You know what's particularly disturbing on this story is it's the political reality. I think the frustration that I hear from all of you is this is the reality of business and politics. And when the Supreme Court ruled that money is free speech, this is exactly what you get. What are these companies doing? It's called hedging your bets. And so they're spending money on campaigns that I am quite sure philosophically do not agree with in any way. I mean, come on. NBC Universal, let's take the Comcast out of it. NBC Universal, do we think for 2 seconds that NBC Universal is homophobic in any way? No.
They have a peacock as their
right. In fact, they got criticism that their peacock was too gay.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right.
But what they do is then they spend $28,000, which for NBC Universal is nothing.
Not even petty cash.
For Dennis Baxley, who is a horrible homophobic person. It's the dirtiness of business and politics in America. And the bigger picture is, unless we can figure out a way via the Supreme Court, because now we have to do it via the Supreme Court, to get money out of politics, which principally means big business, this will not change because they're hedging their bets. At least we can understand what is going on, and we make in that understanding decisions of what we are going to do before boycotts or whatever else. It's a really sad situation. This 28,000 is just really terrible. NBC Universal should be embarrassed to even breathe Dennis Baxley's name in any way.
And one last thing, Al, when they were asked about this donation, they said no comment.
Yeah.
Come on, then at least stand your ground and say, hey, you know what, we didn't know we gave this money out. Let's give some more money to the Trevor Project or something like that.
Exactly.
No comment screams huge.
Exactly.
It's like pleading the fifth.
Yeah.
Let's queer up education. Students sue their school for banning books on LGBTQ and race. Banning books may be a cause of misery but 2 students in Missouri are fighting back after their school district for banning books that talk about LGBTQ identities, as well as books about race. A class action suit against the Wentzville School District has been filed on behalf of the students by the ACLU of Missouri. In a lawsuit, the ACLU accuses school officials of banning the books due to their dislike of the ideas containing the banned books and with intent and purpose to prescribe what is generally or traditionally accepted as right or true in their opinions. The lawsuit is reportedly the first of one of any ACLU affiliate to challenge the wave of book banning campaigns currently taking place across the country by conservative parents and GOP politicians.
Wow. Let's say some of the books that they want to ban. Okay, one of the books is called The Bluest Eyes. Okay, another book is called Heavy, an American memoir. Not like, Tom bent over, nothing like that.
I love that book.
Well, and it's another example of the kids being smarter than adults, including their parents.
Yeah.
And it's good that they found a way to have their voices heard.
It's symptomatic, I think, to your point. Old white male America is holding on by their fingertips. And this is one of the ways that they're doing it. They're holding on by their fingertips. But this is actually a really great story. And the reason this is a really great story is because this is how it works in America. Gay marriage happened because of 4 people or 2 people in one state or 4 people in another state, as was Florida's situation, where they establish the filing of the lawsuit. And it's going to work its way through the state courts. It will be appealed into the district courts. It will be appealed into a higher district court, and then it will go to the Supreme Court. This case is the first of the ones that are going to challenge all the way to the Supreme Court. So this is how it works in America, and this is good for LGBT. The second thing that I note on the horizon is, what will the Supreme Court do? Because this will force the Supreme Court out, just like the abortion case, to say, please explain and justify how free press and free speech doesn't exist in balance of banning a book. Right. What Supreme Court justice has ever wanted to go out on the limb that book banning is good? Their legacy of history will be at stake, and we probably have watched it in the initiation of this lawsuit.
Wow. Well, now let's queer up trans rights. RuPaul's Jasmine Kennedie comes out trans on Emotional UnTucked. Watch this.
Before coming here, and I didn't think I was going to talk about this. Before coming here, oh my God. Before coming here, I was about to start hormones. Seeing Carrie, how confident she is in who she is. Like, I as well, I am trans. And I've been so scared to say it. I can't lie about it anymore. After that, I am going to start therapy. And like Carrie, you are like the idea of like what I want to be. You're so beautiful. If I could even...
You are really gorgeous, and because the woman that you are is housed within you, the human being that you want to be.
Yes.
That puts the T in the LGBTQ.
Yeah. Okay. Loved it the first time, loved it again. RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14 contestant Jasmine Kennedie came out as trans to our fellow queens on an emotional episode of UnTucked on Friday. The same day, she made a lengthy post on Instagram explaining her experience and revealing that she started HRT, or hormone replacement therapy, as soon as filming had wrapped up for the season. On the post, she wrote, quote, "I am proud to say I am Kyle, and I am a trans woman. Growing up, I always felt different. I never really fit the mold of what society has panned out for me to be. For the last 7 years of my life, I put all of my focus on my career. Never did I take a chance to step back and ask myself, what does Kyle want to be, or what does Kyle want to do? It was always, what does Jasmine need to succeed?" End of quote. Jasmine isn't the first Season 14 queen to reveal herself as transgender. Bosco came out at the beginning of the month in a post on Instagram and Twitter saying, quote, "I'm trans. My pronouns out of drag are she, they. I am the happiest I've ever been." End quote.
I watched the episode last Friday, and she's been a little annoying before, but she redeemed herself, I think, with this episode. It was so emotional, it was so special, and actually because Bosco was next to her, and they were talking about how they both came out as trans, but Bosco has a boyfriend that is very supportive.
Yes.
Jasmine, not such. It was not as clear in the beginning. And then Carrie Colby, who transitioned already and is in the show, is also there present. So it's very interesting how they, even though they're going through the same process, they have three different stories, right? And how she talks particularly about Jasmine. Her father was not, very supportive of her, not even doing drag. So it was very important for her not to disappoint him. So how this plays so well in the editing or whatever they did, it plays so well in the episode. It was very special, and I think she won legions of fans because of what she did in that episode. She was wonderful.
Well, let's just say that you guys have ruined it for me because I'm not caught up. I'm still upset and sad and crying over cornbread rolling her ankle. Cornbread, come back.
You'll still really enjoy it. But to your point, Jasmine was annoying, and they really played that up in the editing in the beginning, of course, because that's smart TV.
Wow, editing a reality show.
Can you imagine?
Who knew, right?
But I also, then it helped me to understand Jasmine. I understood her more. I'm thinking, okay, maybe she was talking so much in the beginning because she was hiding what she was really wanting to say, or she had the fear of really saying what she wanted to say, so she was talking all around it and dancing all around other stuff, rather than saying the meat of what she really wanted to say.
Well, what's amazing is this sort of mini media empire of RuPaul's. When it started out, it was kind of campy and
mini. Well, think mini about that.
Campy, and it was goofy and fun, and it's really become this place where really serious things are happening. And I don't even know if RuPaul knew that was going to happen when they first started, but it's kind of amazing what it's morphed into.
You remember early on one of the queens who came out as HIV positive. That was a big moment in this series. A couple of thoughts about what happens on Friday night that I love both observations. One of which is to the Tucker Carlsons and to the Harry Potter authors of the world. This is proof positive of why, frankly, you're completely wrong. Nobody says, let me be abused by coming out gay and allow a whole class of people to hate on me. Nobody comes out as trans in fighting their truth of authenticity and does it for fame or attention. It's just antithetical that could happen. And the reason why we're all responding to this moment on Friday night's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race UnTucked is because we all know this. Whether we've had an easy time of it or not, we can feel the fear and rejection of that moment from a Jasmine Kennedie. And the second thing that I think, I just have to say this because sometimes I've been very critical. RuPaul's Drag Race has come a hell of a long way. And I suspect, although I do not know now, RuPaul's come a hell of a long way too. Because once upon a time, that moment would have been impossible in the show. Because she wouldn't have even been allowed to compete in the show.
Right.
You're a boy identifying as a boy playing a girl as a drag queen. And that's it.
That's it.
Now the complexity of the participants in the show and the worldwide inclinations of the show is rich and diverse and represents the LGBTQ community, which is why we all fell in love with UnTucked on Friday night, because RuPaul and World of Wonder finally allowed a moment like that. Bravo to you.
Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine and supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ plus religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
I'm Julio Capo Jr. and I'm a history professor at Florida International University, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, now we finish tonight's queer news headlines with a segment that we call LGBTQ plus Flash News.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. Oscars history as Wanda Sykes becomes first Black lesbian host at Academy Awards. Watch this.
Good morning, America. I'm not sure who thought this was a good idea, but I am hosting the Oscars along with my good friend Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall. I better go watch some movies.
Regina, Amy, Wanda making history. The first time 3 women have ever been named the hosts of Hollywood's biggest night. Schumer, an actress, writer, producer, and comedian known for her cutting-edge humor.
In movies and TV shows, the guy always gets down on one knee, right? And the girl's always shocked.
I didn't even know you liked me. Like, I'm still on Bumble. Like, this is...
She'll share the stage with fellow comedic powerhouse Wanda Sykes.
There's no way in the world men will put up with hot flashes. No way in the world. I think if a man had 2 hot flashes, they would blow the sun up.
And actress Regina Hall.
Tell them I'd be honored.
In recent weeks, there were questions about whether or not the show would even have a host this year at all.
And congratulations to all of you. You made it. We're at the Oscars.
Last emceed by Jimmy Kimmel in 2018, the show has been without a host ever since.
Out comedian Wanda Sykes is joining comedian Amy Schumer and actress Regina Hall as a co-host for the 94th Annual Academy Awards, March 27th. This is the first time there is a host for the awards since 2018, the first time that 3 people are hosting since 1987, and the first time that all 3 hosts are women. Well, Wanda's never cease. Oh. Brava, comedy goddess.
Well, I love them all, but I especially love Wanda, and I love one of her quotes. It says, "When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade, make pink lemonade. Be unique."
Yes, right.
I'm happy for all three of them. However, I wanted some Latina power in the mix, so but happy for all of them.
Next time, maybe.
Next time.
I'm thrilled about Wanda Sykes hosting, and I hope, look, it's the gayest award show on the planet. The room is full of LGBTQ people, but on the stage, I hope she doesn't shy away from it at all. Every opportunity she has, I hope we're going to hear LGBT funny.
Wanda Sykes could have done it all by herself. I like you, Amy Schumer. You are right, Regina. But Wanda Sykes, black, that's my girl. We could have, it could have been all you. Next time, next time, next time. LGBTQ plus flash news. Equality Florida introduces 2 powerful TV commercials over Don't Say Gay. Watch this.
All right, Chelsea, you're up. Tell us about your hero.
I have 2 heroes. My 2 moms.
It's okay. You should be proud. Go ahead.
Mrs. Thompson, please report to the front office.
Wow.
Last week, Queer News Tonight reported on the new ad campaign by Equality Florida bringing awareness to the Don't Say Gay bill and the Stop Woke Act. These commercials present dramatizations of some of the real-world implications of these bills, which would hold teachers legally responsible if a student or their parents are offended by LGBTQ plus or content discussing race are presented in the classroom. Watch this.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will be judged by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Miss George? Why is this part crossed out?
I hope DeSantis is watching this. This is real life. This is exactly what's happening, what's going to happen to our children.
And it's really a relief to see that a local, a regional organization, a state organization is doing this, and hearts and minds, people, hearts and minds.
Yes, kudos and props to Equality Florida, big time. But what really scares me about this too is I look at what's happening in Hungary and Russia, and even though that is very extreme, this still is like, it's like the crumbs of it. It's very frightening.
Yeah, to all those organizations that we're talking before that were supporting Baxley, they're all supporting Ron DeSantis. So watch out. Good for Equality Florida for doing this.
Yes, let's say his name again, Dennis Baxley. And congratulations, NBC Universal, for the $28,000 you contributed to the person that created this campaign. We talk about slippery slopes, which is what you just said. Let me remind everybody from history of the slippery slopes. Mao Zedong in China and where that led. Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany in 1935, they said, no, don't take this too far. And it became a slippery slope. And Joseph Stalin in Russia in 1958. This is how Florida begins a slippery slope that if we're not careful, we can't stop. In LGBTQ plus flash news, the High Court rules at the European Union that they could now withhold billions to Poland and Hungary over anti-LGBTQ plus policies. The European Court of Justice, the ECJ, ruled last week that EU leaders have the right to deny funding to member nations that breach democratic and human rights standards of the Union. This ruling means that Poland and Hungary now face losing billions in funding from the EU due to their anti-LGBTQ plus policies. The ECJ judges wrote in their decision that, quote, compliance with those values cannot be reduced to an obligation which a candidate state must meet in order to accede to the European Union and which it may disregard after accession. The European Union must be able to defend those values within the limits of its powers. The court, in my opinion, gets it completely right. They were required to accept the democratic value of LGBTQ acceptance. They're admitted into the European Union, and then they renege. Now the European court says, at the cost of billions of dollars. Great.
Hungary, Poland, that's billions with a B. B, billions, as in bullies that you were trying to be. Ha ha ha.
As someone who is a quarter Polish, I have to ask if Poland realizes it's becoming a Polish joke.
Oh dear, well. And I seem to have a theme going on in my head tonight, but I would like to do the same thing with states that are enacting these laws here, you know, like withhold the money. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's why we need to pass the Equality Act.
Right.
You know, Eurovision is coming up, and it's the gayest thing in Europe. Eurovision.
Yeah.
Poland and Hungary should be kicked out because of this. So, LGBTQ plus flash news. Social media is buzzing. Is Pinocchio gay? Gen Z and TikTok have decided that Pinocchio is gay thanks to the new trailer for the upcoming Pinocchio, a true story. For those of us who were alive in the 80s and the early 90s, we are familiar with the over-the-top and exaggerated mannerism of former MTV VJ and actor Pauly Shore, who is voicing the little wooden boy in the film. Because TikTok is meant for people with an attention span of a fly, people are heavily focused on the voiceover in the first 15 seconds of the trailer. Apparently, the 2+ minutes trailer is too long to watch since it reveals a female love interest that is driving part of the plot. Goes to tell you, wait and see. Watch this.
I don't believe my eyes. Your name will be Pinocchio.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see. Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
I'm just, wait, I actually like the TikTok, so that's pretty cool. So, wait.
You know, as I understand this, Pinocchio actually does have a female love interest, a little wooden object, female interest. Well, you make the joke of what the little wooden object is used for.
I was going to say, insert joke about having a lot of wood here.
Yeah.
And maybe the only one who can answer this question is Wayland Flowers' Madam, the puppet, who once offered to sit on Pinocchio's face and encouraged him to lie.
You took the word right out of my mouth. Lie to me, Pinocchio. Lie to me. Anyway, LGBTQ plus flash news. Court historic ruling makes Mexico's non-binary gender marker birth certificate a reality. Mexico made history this month when it issued the first birth certificate in the country with a non-binary gender marker. The historic moment follows a lengthy legal battle between activist Fausto Martinez and the National Electoral Institute. Back in September of 2021, the 26-year-old requested to put NB as their sex on official documents. In January, it all came to a head when the judge presiding over the case ruled in favor of Martinez. On 11th of February, they were issued the document from the Civil Registry of Guanajuato. Well, I think what's really amazing is how much more progressive Mexico is than the United States.
Things are changing, and I'm glad to see that this movement in Mexico, and actually they're hosting the gay games. They co-hosting this year the Guadalajara, and at the end of the year. So that's very good. Good for Mexico.
I think it's wonderful because it is a reflection of we're in a very Hispanic South Florida. And Mexico has been really, really the most progressive of all of the Latin American Western Hemisphere nations. And I think that it is a great start that can have a infection kind of result on the rest of the Latin community in the Western Hemisphere.
México ya hubo tiempo, ¿verdad? Nuestros hermanos se merecen esto ya mucho tiempo. NB también.
Did you just order Taco Bell?
A combo with Diet Coke.
Viva Mexico!
So that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you? Why are you looking at me like that, Al?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share the news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups of which you're a member. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your friends and your family.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And that is the passion of the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, Gregg Shapiro, Dale Stine, Dino Mosquera, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to. The United States warns the United Nations Russia has created a kill list against LGBTQ plus preparing for a Ukraine invasion. Watch this.
And Jake, I know you just heard in the reporting the U.S. has accused Russia of having this list of Ukrainians they plan to kill or kidnap. Just how violent would this invasion or could it get?
Well, we believe that any military operation of the size, scope, and magnitude of what we believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike. But we also have intelligence to suggest that there will be an even greater form of brutality, because this will not simply be some conventional war between two armies. It will be a war waged by Russia on the Ukrainian people to repress them, to crush them, to harm them. And that is what we laid out in detail for the UN, because we believe that the world must mobilize to counter this kind of Russian aggression should those tanks roll across the border, as we anticipate they very well may do in the coming hours or days.
Well, the White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan revealed that the U.S. has sent a letter to the United Nations warning that Russia has created a kill list of Ukrainians to be attacked or detained in the case it invades the country. The list reportedly has names of people whom Russian authorities would order to be killed or sent to camps. The list is said to include journalists, activists, ethnic and religious minorities, and LGBTQ plus Ukrainians. Other likely targets also include individuals who oppose Russia's strategic goals, as well as dissidents from Russia and Belarus who have taken refuge in Ukraine.
Does Putin want to be the Hitler of the 21st century?
Yeah, he does.
Is that his goal?
The answer is yes.
Really what he's trying to do?
It's very much, and I was thinking today as I was reading this, now this area makes the Middle East look like a playground. I mean, that's really scary.
You know what was really sad? I was watching the videos yesterday of parents that were like pleading with their children to get out of there, you know, and they had a gentleman who had fallen in love with another gentleman there, and he will not leave him, you know, and these parents are crying, please come back to the U.S. Something bad is going to happen. And I mean, it's heartbreaking.
You see, what's getting very concerning is that not only the danger in Ukraine currently, but the countries around, Belarusia, Poland, which, is this climate against gay people already, festering there. And this will be used as a way to even, target more gay activists in those countries, particularly in Ukraine, and the money that is coming to, to fight that. So
I'm curious, at the end of the day, is your expectation that Putin is going to invade Ukraine? Yeah. Do you think it's inevitable now?
Yeah, it sounds like a movie, a kill list and everything. Oh my God, and this is going to happen now.
Well, the whole intention is that they're trying to get Ukraine, which Ukraine has not declared that they're going to join NATO, right? So they are trying to persuade Ukraine not to, but they haven't decided. They haven't even been voted into voting them into NATO. But Putin wants to get concessions ahead of this. So this is...
And he's Putin, meaning the government, Putin, basically. They're also rolling out this narrative that Ukraine is also breaking all these laws so that they can be set up to invade them. So he's really just setting it up to make it almost, it seems inevitable.
We report this as our lead story tonight in Queer News Tonight because I think a lot in our community do not realize the implications that this geopolitical story has on LGBT worldwide. If you accept the concept that the LGBTQ community is an international brotherhood, sisterhood, non-binary, trans, etc., we should be concerned about what's going to happen in Ukraine. We have watched basically the complete annihilation of the LGBTQ community in Russia. So the National Security Advisor's warning to the UN about LGBT risk in Ukraine seems eminently reasonable to me that it could be a reality. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure